and welcome to Auto Shenanigans. How the devil are you? Have you had a good week? My name is John. Thank you very much for joining me for another exciting episode of Secrets of the Motorway. This week I'm in Wales. You'd think that the only motorway in Wales was the M4, but no. Hiding on the northeast side of, bear with me here, this is a Welsh town name and my pronunciations are notoriously poor. Hiding on the northeast side of Cardiff, we find a 2.5 mile long motorway called the A48M. The A48M began its life 35 miles from here, opening in 1966 as the Port Talbot bypass, making it the oldest motorway in Wales. The problem is, that's 35 miles away in Port Talbot, not here in Cardiff. So how did we get today's A48M? Not long after the Port Talbot bypass opened, it was incorporated into the M4, meaning the A48M was a spare road number. It was quickly allocated to the Morriston bypass, which opened in 1972, 45 miles from today's A48M. In 1975, like the Port Talbot bypass, it was incorporated into the M4, meaning once again the A48M was a free road number. It would be in 1977 that the A48M would open, except it wouldn't because it was numbered as the M4. At the time, this section of the M4 was under construction, so what we know as the A48M served as a terminus for the M4 until around 1980 when the M4 became the M4 and they had the A48M road number going spare, don't forget, and this was allocated to the leftover section. Today, the A48M and the M4 meet at the Castleton interchange, and whilst it's simple in its layout, it is hiding one or two secrets, such as the now disused slip roads that allow traffic to join the westbound M4 from the A48M. I don't think it was built with the intention of ever being open to the public. From the little information I can find, it was built along with a small yard for maintenance vehicles during construction of the M4, and once completed, it's very possible it could have been used by emergency vehicles needing quick access between the two motorways. In the early 90s, a proposal was put forward to build a motorway service station here that would most likely have reused this slip road. Planning permission was denied by the local council because they wanted to expand Junction 30 instead, where today we find Cardiff Gate services. As for our slip road, today it's been gated off at both ends and it seems to have been mostly forgotten about. Next up, we're going to go and search for a mysterious abandoned carriageway. Take a look at this old satellite image and you can clearly see a carriageway that's been built but not connected to anything. On more up-to-date images, it looks like nature has swallowed up the carriageway, so I've no idea what we're going to find, if anything at all. But we're going to go and have a look and see what remains of this mysterious carriageway. Found it. The big question, of course, is why is it here? I'm afraid I don't exactly know. There are many suggestions as to why out there, but I don't think any of them are quite right. One idea is that the carriageway was built as a temporary road whilst works were carried out on the M4 and interchange nearby. Another is that it was built as part of the M4 at a time when they still hadn't decided which route the M4 was going to take. One of the original ideas was that it was going to follow the route of today's A48M. That last idea is probably something I can debunk for us right now. If we take a look at this old aerial photograph from 1981, we can see that this mysterious carriageway doesn't exist. Therefore, it can't have been built as part of the M4 whilst they were still working out which direction it was going to go. This has to have been built after 1981, by which time the M4 was already sorted. The next aerial photo that I found comes from 1991, and it shows our mysterious carriageway now complete but not connected to anything. All that tells us is that this carriageway was built at some point between 1981 and 1991. With that in mind, it leaves us with the possibility that it was built as a temporary diversion road whilst works were carried out at the interchange. And whilst that does seem likely, I can't find any evidence to support this, so for me, the carriageway is still a mystery. In around 2009, both the mystery carriageway and the disused slip road would be reopened for use by maintenance vehicles during widening works on the M4. Once the project was completed, the mystery carriageway and the slip road would very quickly return to their disused status. Leaving the Castleton interchange behind, and we find an underpass that allows for pedestrian access to each side of the motorway. I don't think it gets used much these days, and it would have been installed as a formality. When you're building motorways, you can't just simply close off footpaths, you have to make provisions to keep the footpaths open. Usually they'd install a bridge, but in this case they went with an underpass. After that, not a lot happens really, and you quickly arrive at the motorway's end where you've no option but to transition onto the A48. We do find a set of slip roads at the motorway's end, but they're designed with non-motorway traffic in mind, so if you want to exit the carriageway properly, you need to drive a little bit further up to the next junction on the A48. That junction, as well as the next ones along, appear to have been built to a motorway standard, so it begs the question, was the A48M supposed to continue through Cardiff? Not quite is the answer. Like many cities, there was once a grand road building plan for Cardiff that would have seen the construction of several large roads around the city. The thing is, none of these were planned to be motorways, just large main dual carriageways with proper junctions, as close as you can get to a motorway without actually being one. So whilst there was the intention to have a main A road running through Cardiff, it was never supposed to be a motorway. In the end, they only built about half of what they planned, but that's a story for another day. And there we are then, guys. That's all we've got time for this week. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, there is of course a button specifically for that. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. That would be wicked sweet awesome. Enjoy the rest of your week, whatever it is you get up to. My name's John. You've been watching Auto Shenanigans, and I'll see you next time for another exciting episode of Secrets of the Motorway. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Wales gets its very own TV service in 1964.